All right. So, this is my lightning strafe Amazon. It's definitely an off-meta build. I haven't really seen this a lot. I'm sure someone has conceived of this before. Um, but, I really enjoy making builds in this game that are off-meta, that you don't think of right away, that you kind of have to find some really specific gear for. So this one uses a ton of lightning charms and a rune word that is kind of underutilized and people think is crap. So anyway, first of all, to do this build, you need lots of lightning damage, right? I'm using Strafe. I think they kind of fixed it in the last previous patches. It seems like the attack rating works better. It seems like with the next hit delay patch, things seem to connect a little better. So I have all these charms I've been saving up. I'm online, so just whatever I could find. This is like my second set of these because I have another build that uses them. And these are not easy to come by. I mean, like, ones that are decent, are not easy to come by. These are the best two I've probably found, 1 to 41 and 2 to 41. This one's pretty good too, with 1 to 27 and 10 lightning resist. So I've got all these. Got an Annie, got a Geets. No torch. I'm kind of just tired of using the torch because of the way that it just cakes the screen in fire, and I just get a little sick of that. I wish you could toggle that off, or maybe if they had different types of torches or items that are similar to them, they just have different effects that you could utilize on different builds. That would be cool. So anyway, one of the things that's making this build work is the Dream Helm. It's about 600 lightning damage, I think. The Confused When Struck is useful too for this build since our resists aren't the greatest. I shopped this. This is a cool looking armor. I wanted it to be blue to kind of go with this lightning theme. I know it's not Nova When Struck, but this was the only one I could find after shopping for a long time. And I eventually traded and found 5/5 lightning facets to put in it. I'm also using this Mana Steel ring with some resistance and a little magic find. Definitely need a little bit of Mana Steel on this. I'm using the T-Gods because it's got some lightning damage on it. I have this ring, which was kind of cool. It's got some life steal and a little lightning damage. And then I have Laying of Hands, basically for the fire res damage to demons. Everyone knows this item, but this actually complements the rune word really well, as you'll see. And then I'm using the Goblin Toes for the 25% crushing blow, and then Cat's Eye for the run walk and the dexterity. And then I have the Wrath Bow, which has 20% crushing blow, lightning damage 41 to 240. The magic damage is kind of nice. And then you'll see it's got the 298% damage to undead with 375% damage to demons. The damage to demons on here and on here is pretty dang good. That equals 725% damage to demons. So even though this lacks enhanced damage on the bow, with the lightning damage, the magic damage, the crushing blow, and the enhanced damage to demons and undead, you actually do plenty of damage. There's also nice mods here, Cannot Be Frozen, and then the Decrep and the Life tab are so good, way awesome. The Decrep basically just slows everybody down, and even though it doesn't help our lightning damage, it doesn't matter. Nothing can really move and hurt you. And then that combined with the Confused When Struck, and as you'll see, I have a decoy that's maxed out. Our survivability is quite good, even though our res isn't really that great. So I maxed out decoy, penetrate, enough points into pierce, maxed out strafe, and didn't even max out its synergies. And that's kind of all you need. So that's what I'm working with here. And then our mercenary obviously has infinity, and he's got a really nice vamp gaze. It's F, and it rolled perfect on the physical damage reduction. And then I just gave him a Chains of Honor. It's not F because I use that between other characters. So I just wanted to show you guys how this works. I actually have, I have on swap a Hustle that I pulled off from the last ladder. And this helps with our run walk. So we can try to get that procced, you know. Let's see here. So you'll see as we go through here, it's like this build is pretty dang good. So we're not using Wrathbow just yet. I just want to try to proc the burst of speed that's on the Hustle. So, and I really like these kind of off-meta builds and stuff. Like, I mean, even... yeah, it's pretty good. So, I really like these off-meta builds. They are really fun to, like, item find for. And when... There we go, we got a proc. So now I'll switch to my Wrathbow and check this out. These are lightning immunes even. Alright, here's a pack of guys. You can kind of see, like... It's just obliterating stuff. I mean, I know we're P1, players 1 in Act 1, but I'll show Chaos, I'll show Trav and stuff like that too. I'm just like, look at how fast we shoot too. It's kind of nuts. There's some, yeah, those guys going down. Alright, so let's check out the pits here. I mean, that's pretty dang good, isn't it? Like... Yeah, I really enjoy item finding for items like these, you know? Like, finding a small charm that has that much lightning damage on it is, like, enough to just start an entire build. Like, if you find one of those and you're like, alright, I'm going to start an entire build now that uses that. And I find that to be really cool in Diablo 2. Like, part of the reason why I just wasn't interested in Diablo 4 was because of, you know, the reports that you can't really find gear for other classes and characters, and you and it doesn't have the itemization like D2 has. D2 has this crazy cool itemization, whether it was intended from the beginning or an accident. It has items in the game that are very valuable, like that people overlook. So like just blue items, you know, like something like this that comes with 4 sockets, and it's a magical item. Somebody would probably drop that on the ground thinking it's trash, and really it's highly sought after. All right, so we've got our burst speed on. We're just wrecking stuff in here.
I can't carry anymore.
Yep. Sweet. All right, so let's go check out Trap. One thing I like to do with this as well is use the Peace rune word and proc a Valkyrie really quick. I find this to be very helpful for places like Trav and Chaos Sanctuary. Alright, so we got one already. She looks really fast too, and she spawned with some higher defense armor, so that should help us out. So now, and this is another thing they fixed. This used to, I'm pretty sure the Valkyrie used to disappear once you took the armor off. Anyway, so I'll put this back on. Let's go to Travancore. Alright, so I'm just going to utilize the decoy here. This thing can really take a beating when it's maxed out, and you know, like we just procced our Valkyrie up here. She's got a ton of life because we maxed decoy. All right, so decoy. Look at the Hydras up top. They're just pummeling the decoy, and it's still alive. And they're all decrept. They can't move. Look at that. So this works really well. I mean, like, with the life tap, the decrep, the decoy, the confuse when struck. I mean, you have a ton of defensive capability, you know? And then Strafe just hits everything and is just proccing everything. Like, I'm like proccing stuff like more than like I'm proccing decrep like more than like and like a necromancer, you know? It's kind of nuts. 3 to javelin and spear skills. So anyway, let's go to Chaos Sanctuary. I think I'd like to show that off, and then maybe a Terra Zone if that, you know, if there's a good one. So my burst of speed ran out. I mean, I guess you could use like a Nausea on swap or something, but I kind of like this because of how it affects our attack speed. And there, look at the Valkyrie just flew in there all by herself, and she's just surrounded, and she's doing fine. Only level 15, but it's got that decoy. And then look at all of our lightning damage. That guy's immune to physical. He just went down really easily. Look how fast we're shooting too. Because I made this in a blade bow, which has a really fast attack speed, and I opted to make it in just a regular blade bow and not like an Amazon specific weapon because I'd like to try it on a couple other builds maybe at some point. I don't know if it'll have that great of utility, you know, without having something like Strafe. But you know, maybe with enough attack speed, fanaticism, stuff like that, you could use it on like a paladin or like maybe like some kind of weird druid based like off-meta build. So here we go, making our way. And you know, I'm kind of a slower player. I don't love just zipping to the end of a map like with a sorceress. I do like kind of walking through. It's not that I haven't made, you know, a sorceress or anything like that and done that. It's just that I find it to be a little more satisfying when you can have like a melee type build be very adequate, you know, like, and do really well. It's really fun to find that, and that's kind of one of the beautiful imbalances of this game, you know. It's like, because melee is not necessarily the best, making it really good is very satisfying. And so, you know, I do think there needs to be some tweaks to some of the weapons, especially the uniques that are just useless now. But, you know, a lot of people want melee to be buffed a lot, and it's kind of like, yeah, but it's got to be done very carefully, because if they did that and it just became very, very strong, then it would kind of ruin that, you know, appeal for finding really, really good gear, right? So it's all got to be done like with a lot of care and a really good knowledge of the mechanics of the game, you know. And I don't know if the teams are that keen on figuring all that out, but the latest patches have been pretty dang good. So whoever's kind of like in charge of that seems like they do have an ear out and are listening to the community a bit. Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of like subtle changes I'd like, and a lot of big changes I'd like, but that would be, I guess, a different video. So here we are. I mean, like, here we're going through right now Chaos Sanctuary, and it's just like we're doing fine. I'm not even like paying attention, you know. So let's get this dude here who causes a lot of problems for people for certain builds, and let's just see. Okay, they're all decrept, where they're life tapped, and they're all dead. You know, like, that was amazingly good. You know, obviously it helps to have our mercenary with infinity. A lot of these off-meta, like, elemental weird builds, you know, I mean, obviously an infinity is gonna help. You kind of just need one. But like I said before, it's kind of fine that you need to have, like, you know, GG gear or whatever people say. It's kind of fine that you need that to make something like this work. This is not a build you can just start out with, you know? And I think that's perfectly fine. I think it's perfectly good that you can't make this build work. I've collected these charms, like, just sporadically ever since, like, you know, D2R launched, basically. And just kind of kept them in the back of my mind for a while and on some mules and stuff. And, you know, and then when you can finally make a build like this work, it's way more satisfying. All right, so here we go. This dude can be kind of a pain, so strafe them all down. Our decoy. We life tapped him. Look at him. He's gone. No. So, it looks like our burst of speed ran out too. So we'll try to get that procced again. There we go. Got it. Now back to the Wrath Bow. You know, that one misstep I think was with the Hustle Runeword, actually. Because at first they made it so good that it was like no one's ever gonna not use it so that they can pre-buff with it. And so then they nerfed it so that people wouldn't pre-buff with it, you know, and that, like, they'd actually want to use it. And then what ended up happening is that people just ended up pre-buffing with it anyway.
I can't carry anymore.
You know, which is like exactly what I'm doing with it. And it's fine. Like, it's not bad if you look at it, right? It's not the worst thing in the world. But anyway, this build utilizes it pretty well. All right, Diablo, you got him decrept, and he's gone. Oh, and an arachnid mesh just drops. Nice. Oh man, look at this. It was enhanced dam. Oh no, never mind. It's not as good as I thought. And then we got an arachnid mesh. Boom. That's pretty sweet. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like this showcases it well enough, you know? I really am loving this build. I think part of what makes it so fun is that it took so long to curate it and to put it together. And it looks super cool too, right? I mean, like, I was in a trade one day and this dude saw my character and he was like, nice, like, Amazon, dude. You know, it's got the lightning from the Holy Shock. The blade bow looks pretty sweet. It's like this twisted, you know, reddened bark. The helm I made my dream in, you know, is a skull. It's a bone visage. Look at our, and then, like, the armor, right, is blue. It just looks really cool, right? You just don't see Amazons that look like this. And then, look at our Valkyrie that we procced. Level 15 did not die at Trav and didn't die in Chaos. So I really like this. You don't need a lot of skills for this build. If you look at my strafe, it's level 21. The one point I have is from this Annihilus charm. That's it, you know? So it's pretty sweet, man. I really like how this build turned out, and I like that you have to grind to make it work. I love that it looks cool, and I love that it works really well, you know? And, you know, lightning damage builds in this game just are good when you have an Infinity Mercenary. But like making an armor like this, for example, this opens up so many off-meta builds for you. You could basically do what I'm doing here with all these charms, this Dream Helm, and this armor on like any character really. Like you could do an assassin, a druid, a barbarian, like with this type of setup and find some skills that they have that could utilize the lightning damage well. Um, anyway, so I think that's it. This is one of my new favorite builds that I've done. I hope you liked it, and I'll be maybe doing a few more uh, like off-meta builds that I'm really into, and that I maybe haven't seen too much of either. And I like this game, and I also really enjoy Final Fantasy VII. So if there's any content I make for video games, it'd probably just be, you know, this game or that. Anyway, thanks for watching the video.